CNN headline. Flashes across the screen, markets plunge. Worst financial meltdown in decades. Panicked traders, stock tickers bleeding red, people outside Lehman Brothers carrying cardboard boxes. It was the worst financial crisis since the Great Depression. Banks were collapsing, CEOs were in free fall. The world was on the brink of economic disaster. Millions lost their homes. Trillions vanished from the stock market. The financial titans of Wall Street crumbled under their own greed. A phone rings inside JPMorgan Chase headquarters. Jamie Dimon picks it up. On the other end, the US Treasury. They need help. Again. While Wall Street was burning, Jamie Dimon was building an empire. This is the story of a man who saw the storm coming. This is the rise of Jamie Dimon, the last man standing on Wall Street. Chapter 1. The making of a titan. Jamie Dimon was born to be a banker. Money wasn't just something his family earned, it was something they understood, analyzed, and strategized over. His grandfather, a Greek immigrant, built a career in finance, and his father, Theodore Dimon, spent his life as a stockbroker. But young Jamie? He wasn't just another kid in a well-to-do Manhattan household. He had fire, he had ambition. While other kids were playing baseball, Jamie was memorizing stock prices. While most teenagers were worrying about prom, Jamie was debating economic theories over dinner. By the age of 9, he declared he would be rich. Not just comfortable, rich. But here's the thing, Jamie Dimon didn't just want wealth. He wanted power. He wanted to build something. He wanted to win. Even in his early years, he was different. He wasn't the loudest guy in the room, but when he spoke, people listened. His mind worked like a calculator, constantly breaking down problems, seeing angles no one else did. Then came a moment that would change his life forever. At Tufts, Jamie wrote an economic analysis on a financial merger. A sharp, critical deep dive into the numbers. A paper so insightful that it landed on the desk of a Wall Street giant. His name? Sandy Weill. A man who had already built an empire, a deal-maker feared by his rivals, a kingmaker who could change Jamie Dimon's life with a single phone call. Weill didn't just read Dimon's paper. He was blown away by it. He sent a note back. "This is excellent. Can I show it to my team?" "Absolutely," Dimon replied. "Can I have a summer job?" Most people would have waited, hoped, and crossed their fingers. Jamie Dimon, he made the move. And just like that, the doors to Wall Street cracked open. What happened next? Well, Jamie Dimon wasn't just about to work for Weill. He was about to learn from him, challenge him, and one day, replace him. And that was just the beginning. Chapter 2. The Master and the Protégé. The Master and the Protégé. Sandy Weill wasn't just another banker. He was a Wall Street architect. A deal-maker with an unmatched instinct for acquisitions, a master of assembling financial empires piece by piece. He didn't just run companies, he built them. But behind every great king, there's a prince waiting in the shadows. And that prince was Jamie Dimon. Dimon had offers. Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley. The biggest names in finance were lining up to recruit him. Most people would have jumped at a chance. But Dimon? He didn't want to just make deals, he wanted to learn from the best. He chose Sandy Weill. Why? Because Weill wasn't just managing a bank, he was orchestrating power. He was a corporate warrior. And Dimon? He wanted to be in the trenches. He wanted to build something. Over the years, Jamie Dimon became Weill's right-hand man. Together, they weren't just making money. They were reshaping Wall Street. One deal at a time, they snapped up companies. American Express, Commercial Credit, Smith Barney, Travelers Group. And then the biggest move of all, the formation of Citigroup in 1998, one of the largest financial institutions the world had ever seen. Dimon and Weill weren't just playing the game, they were rewriting the rules. They were unstoppable. But in every great story, there's a moment when ambition collides with power. A moment when the student challenges the master. 1998, Dimon wasn't just Wire's apprentice anymore. He had become his equal. He wasn't just taking orders. He had his own vision for the future. Inside a towering New York skyscraper, Dimon and Wire sit across from each other. The room is tense. Advisors shift uncomfortably in their seats. Dimon, always direct, makes his case. We need to change the way we do things, Sandy. We need to think about the future. New leadership, new ideas. For the first time, the legendary Weil wasn't calling all the shots. The young prince was challenging the king. Weil wasn't having it. Not from Jamie, not from the kid he mentored. And just like that, Sandy fired Jamie Dimon. Dimon packing his office, a future uncertain. One of the smartest men on Wall Street, the architect behind Citigroup, the protégé who helped build an empire, was now unemployed. For most people, this would be the end of the story, the fall before the fade into obscurity, the moment where ambition crashes into reality. But Jamie Dimon, he wasn't most people. He didn't break. He didn't back down. He didn't disappear. Instead, he planned his comeback. Because Jamie Dimon wasn't just meant to work for the king. He was meant to be the king. Chapter 3. The Comeback, JPMorgan Chase. Chicago 2000, a gray, overcast skyline. A man steps into an office with the weight of an entire institution on his shoulders. That man? Jamie Dimon. After years in the wilderness, Dimon was searching for his next move. The Wall Street golden boy had been cast out. Once the right-hand man to a king, he was now a man with something to prove. And then, he found it. Bank One headquarters, a company in freefall. Stock prices sinking, empty offices, worried employees pacing the hallways. Bank One wasn't just struggling, it was on the brink. Bad loans, terrible risk management. A company bloated with inefficiency. To Jamie Dimon, it was his ticket back to the top. Dimon walks into a silent boardroom. Executives stare at him, some nervous, some skeptical. "Gentlemen," he says, leaning forward, "this place is broken, and we're going to fix it. Fast." And that's exactly what he did. He slashed costs by $500 million. He rebuilt the company's risk management from the ground up. He changed everything, from who was in charge to how employees picked up their phones. Within 4 years, Bank One went from a failing lender to a lean, profitable machine. News headlines went, "The Dimon Effect, Bank One's stunning turnaround. From the brink to billions, how one man saved a bank." Dimon wasn't just back, he was stronger than ever. And then, 2004, the JPMorgan Chase merger. A $58 billion deal, one of the biggest in banking history. Jamie Dimon had officially taken over JPMorgan Chase. This wasn't just a business deal, it was a statement. Wall Street had pushed him aside. Now, he was back at the top, and just in time, because the biggest financial crisis in history was about to begin. 2006, stock markets booming, real estate prices skyrocketing, Wall Street drunk on risk, banks were making billions of risky subprime mortgages, hedge funds were gambling with other people's money, CEOs were handing out record-breaking bonuses. Everything looked unstoppable. But Jamie Dimon, he saw the cracks before anyone else. While other banks were diving headfirst into risky mortgage deals, Dimon pulled JP Morgan back. While CEOs were celebrating short-term gains, he was preparing for long-term survival. People called him too cautious. They said he was playing too safe. Dimon just shrugged. "Banking is a great business," he said, "if you don't do anything stupid." 2008. The collapse begins. The stock market crashes. Lehman Brothers falls. Panic spreads. And now, the US government wasn't looking at the reckless bankers who had started this mess. They were looking at the one man who saw it coming. Chapter 4. The 2008 crisis. Dimon's defining moment. 2008, the year Wall Street went to war. Banks were falling like dominoes, and fast. Lehman Brothers, bankrupt overnight. Merrill Lynch sold for scraps to Bank of America. AIG, begging for a government bailout. drowning in bad bets. This wasn't just a crisis, it was a financial apocalypse. Treasury Secretary Hank Paulson in an emergency meeting. Federal Reserve Chairman Ben Bernanke, arms crossed, eyes full of concern. Who can stop this? Who's got the liquidity? The risk management? The leadership? One name keeps coming up. JPMorgan Chase headquarters. The phone rings. Demand picks up. On the other end, the US government. They don't have time for pleasantries. Jamie, we need your help. While other banks were gorging on subprime mortgages, he had pulled JP Morgan back. While CEOs were chasing risky profits, he was stress testing for a market crash. Now, he had the cash. He had the power. And he was about to make his biggest move yet. In a stunning move, JP Morgan Chase has agreed to acquire Bear Stearns for just $2 a share. Swallowed for pocket change. Bear Stearns employees, shell-shocked, some applauding Dimon, others in disbelief. Dimon didn't hesitate. He didn't ask for permission. He played offense. Most CEOs, they were in survival mode. Dimon, he was on the attack, and he wasn't done yet. Washington Mutual, the largest bank failure in US history. A $300 billion institution, gone. Investors wiped out. Customers in panic. Who's stepping up? Jamie Dimon. Again, JP Morgan Chase swoops in and acquires Washington Mutual's assets, $307 billion worth, for just $1.9 billion. That's a steal, critics whisper. That's a lifeline, regulators say. But to Dimon, it was a calculated bet, a power move. Another step in building the strongest bank in the world. CEO roundtable, the bailout meetings. Treasury Secretary Hank Paulson stands before America's top banking CEOs. In his hand, a document. It's a deal, a $700 billion government bailout for the financial sector. Paulson slides the document across the table. You're all taking this money. No questions. No negotiations. Most CEOs, they had no choice. Their banks were drowning. Dimon? He didn't need the bailout. He took the money only because he was forced to, and later paid it back faster than almost anyone else. While Wall Street was burning, Jamie Dimon was rising. Dimon on the cover of Forbes, The Wall Street Journal, and Time magazine. In a world of reckless bankers, Jamie Dimon was the last one standing. Chapter 5. The man who changed banking forever. A sleek aerial shot of JP Morgan Chase's headquarters in New York City, the sun gleaming off the skyscraper's glass exterior. A digital map appears. JP Morgan's footprint spreads across the globe, from Wall Street to London, from Hong Kong to São Paulo. JP Morgan Chase is the most powerful bank in the world. $3.7 trillion in assets. Millions of customers. A financial empire spanning every continent. And at the top of it all, one man. Jamie Dimon isn't just another CEO. He doesn't hide in ivory towers. He doesn't play by the rules of corporate politics. He isn't afraid to call out regulators, rivals, or even the US government. While others crumbled under pressure, he thrived in chaos. Jamie Dimon in a CNBC interview, speaking bluntly, "If you're not prepared for crises, you're not running a real bank." That's Jamie Dimon. Unapologetic, relentless, respected, and feared. How does he do it? By betting big when others are scared. By playing defense when the market is reckless. By keeping his hands on the controls while others sleep at the wheel. Some call him the last true banker. Could he be the last of his kind? Because here's the truth. Most CEOs serve for a few years and move on. Dimon has been at the top for over 2 decades. But what happens when a general steps off the battlefield? Does JP Morgan Chase stay dominant? Or does the empire fade without its king? Drop your requests in the comments below, and we bring you the untold stories of the world's most powerful figures. If you love this story, don't forget to smash that like button. Hit subscribe to join us for more deep dives into the hidden world of power, strategy, and high-stakes decision-making. and turn on notifications because trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next.